We are doing whatever it takes. Making every moment count. Do whatever it takes. Call 1300 GO Bombers.
Welcome to the Essendon Insider. The AFL and 18 clubs met yesterday to talk about equalisation, so we thought we'd catch up with Essendon CEO and Managing Director Ian Robson. Ian, you were at the meeting yesterday. What was the outcome?
A long day when you've got all 18 clubs, CEOs, chairman, the AFL Commission and execs, so a lot of egos in the room, a lot of healthy debate, but a really positive debate about how we can underpin the financial strength of the competition. So whilst from where we sit at Essendon, we see ourselves as a strong club in Melbourne, robust, big membership. It's a debate that we need, have a really strong and vibrant interest in. And the collective will was that it needs more work, and that's, I suppose, the big takeaway from the day. It's there's going to be some work done by a working group across the next 6 months, reporting back at the end of the year. But all 18 clubs signing up to the notion and that on any given weekend we've got to have a competition if there is an aspiration where any team can beat any other, and who wouldn't support that?
There's been a lot of talk about taxing the rich clubs as such. Was that brought up yesterday?
A lot of suggestions about taxes, caps, luxury taxes. A lot of these are words and expressions that are being brought to us for consideration because they're in use in Major League Baseball or basketball, NBA, or even in the NFL. I think it's always interesting to reflect on some of the mechanisms they use, but we also need to understand the differences of their models. They're privately owned, they're for profit. We're owned by our members, we're not for profit. The economics are very, very different. And whilst we've used things like the draft and the salary cap to really underpin our competition, I think we need to have a little bit of caution. So I think some further study is warranted. A new regime of funding was put in place only a year ago after a piece of work that went for 2 years. That's starting to get some traction. So I think the measured outcome was it needs more work, but the important thing was all 18 clubs supported with some strong and collective will that this is an issue we all have a vested stake in.
And speaking of vested stakes, the Etihad Stadium and possible sale of it before 2025, I think when the AFL takes ownership, was that discussed?
It's certainly something that we raised, and I know a number of other clubs did, not just the Etihad tenants such as ourselves, obviously Carlton, Western Bulldogs, North Melbourne and St Kilda. And there's an outcome that's not too far away, Justin, where 18 clubs are going to get the benefit of a potentially an asset worth north of $1 billion. But there are 5 clubs doing a lot of the heavy lifting right now to provide the content for that stadium to give it vibrancy and in terms of fixtures and the quality of those fixtures in terms of crowds. So it was certainly raised. I think there's some conversations that will continue to happen in the background. Whether or not that happens in a year, 2 or 3, there might be the right circumstance. But we know that only 10 years, or a little bit beyond 10 years away, the stadium comes to the AFL, and what a fantastic outcome that will be for the game.
Thanks, Ian. Sounds like there's plenty more work to be done on equalisation.
Thank you.